Hi guys, in today's video I'm going to be showing you my mains, my goals, my backups, and my averages for the end of 2021. So let's get right into the video. Okay guys, so first of all, I just want to say that I am using a different mic. I did it in my mic comparison test, but it is the $30 Ftf Gear microphone. Make sure to comment down below your thoughts on it, if it's like better or worse or the same. Just because unfortunately my current microphone, I don't know why, it's just not working. So this might go on for a couple videos, we will see. But let's just get right into it. So I'm starting off with 2x2. My main is the Gan 251M Pro. This cube is definitely pretty nice. It's definitely like a pretty good cube. It is a bit unstable, but I really like the feeling of this cube in particular. It is quite expensive, coming in at over $30, but I do really like this cube. As you can see, it has the Gan tensioning system, and this is my main. So for my goal, I believe my goal last year was to get like sub 4. To be honest, I have not cubed as much this year as last year, just because with the pandemic coming a bit normal again. My goal was to get sub 4, and I definitely did not complete it. I hardly have even made my average better than last year. I still average around 5.5, though it does very depend on scrambles. For my backups, I really can't decide between 3 cubes. This is the YJ Wrm, this is the YJ Mgc Elite, and this is the Valk 2 LM. Honestly, all of these cubes are amazing, and 2x2 hardware really does not matter that much, so I don't really care which one I would use. Sometimes even like especially use the Valk as my main instead, just for a couple solves, just because it really does not matter. The only thing about the Valk is it is quite slow. All of these cubes work quite well for me, so I don't really care about what my backup mains are and things. Now getting on to 3x3, my main is the YJ Weilong Wrm 2021 Light Edition. It also has core magnets, you can see here, so it is a cubing home edition. But to be honest, the cubing home edition doesn't really do anything, so I wouldn't recommend getting it. But this cube, it just feels super nice. It is slightly unstable, but the feeling is very nice, and it is quite fast and controllable, so that's why I really like it. I did used to main the 11M Pro, but honestly I get super bad times on it, so I don't think I'll be it's not even my backup main right now. As for averages, I average about maybe 18. It really depends on if I practice or not, which I've been doing the best of lately. I think I could be sub 15 if I actually practice, but I don't. So I average like 18 or 20 depending on if I'm like well practiced or not. My goal was to get like sub 15, which obviously I didn't do because I just couldn't. For my backup main, I used the YJ RS3M 2021 Maglev edition. This cube is honestly not the best feeling, but the times I get on it are really great because it's an Angstrom edition. It's very stable. The corner cutting is very good for being tight, and I just get really good times on it. The other cube that I actually use as a backup is the Tornado V2, but currently I'm letting somebody borrow it, so I don't have it with me right now. That cube is also quite nice, just basically like the WRM, just in my opinion with a slightly worse feeling and slightly worse corner cutting. But yeah, for a budget cube, like this is only $20 with the setup, 13 without, I believe. It's really nice, and I just get super good times on it. It just feels honestly even more stable than the WRM, just a bit slower. Yeah, honestly, like I wouldn't be surprised if this cube became my main, even though it's much cheaper. So yeah, definitely a very good cube. I would recommend picking one up. Now on to 4x4, stuff gets a lot simpler from here. I main the YJ Mgc 4x4. Now with 4x4 at the beginning of the year, I was practicing this a ton, and my average was like a bit like close to sub 1, but then I kind of just fell back on practicing. My average is like now 115, which is the same or slightly lower than it was last year, so yes, I did not complete my goal. This is the Mgc 4x4. It turns pretty nice. I didn't really like it that much last year, but I do like it a lot more this year. The setup that I did on it just feels really nice. And also, I forgot to say this, but goals for 2x2 would be like, I don't know, just like maybe sub 5. Goals for 4x4, definitely sub 1. And goals for 3x3, I would say probably like sub 15, but that's probably ambitious. As for my backup, I used a YJ Zlong Mini. This cube's alright, but it's not my favorite. It's quite small, it's only 56 millimeters, and it did used to be my main, but it just, I don't know. I think the Mgc just feels a bit better, and I do like the size a bit better. Now on to 5x5, my main is the YJ Mgc. This cube is definitely quite nice, and I do like it a lot. This cube is very smooth, though it is a bit slow. For 5x5, my goal was like, I don't know, like sub 2 or something. I currently average like maybe 230, 240, but I haven't really done many 5x5 solves. But I actually am kind of happy where I am right now. I think my goal would probably maybe to be like sub 2 consistently, I would say. Some tiles do pop up, which is kind of annoying, but I think it's a pretty nice cube. For my backup, I could use the Qiyi, which I don't have with me right now, but I think I do prefer a bit the YJ Mgc V2M. This cube is basically just like a cheap version of the Mgc. The tiles do not pop off, which is actually quite nice. It just feels a bit cheaper, but actually this cube is hardly worse than the Mgc. I do like it quite a bit. And yeah, it's just like $10 cheaper, so if you don't have the money, I would say I would get this one because I do really like it a lot. And yeah, I don't really think it would make me have worse times, so definitely get this one if you're just getting into 5x5. As for 6x6, I mean, who really practices big cubes? I use the YJ Mgc 6x6. This is definitely the best one on the market. I haven't tried other ones, but pretty sure it is. And the colors are quite nice, just like with all the other Mgc cubes. However, 6x6 hardware is definitely not the best. And for my averages, I kind of average like 6, but I've done like 1 solve in the past like 2 months, and that was just for this video. My goal was to average sub 4, sub 3, which obviously did not happen, but I think my new goal maybe is like sub 5, just to be an easier goal. This cube is definitely quite nice. I don't have any other 6x6s, so this is my only 6x6, so I don't have a backup. But yeah, I definitely think I could get more into 6x6. It's just a very big cube, and I don't really like big cubes. And finally, on to 7x7. Same story, I only have 1 of them. Again, Mgc. I do think this is actually better than the 6x6, but that's because it's an odd layered puzzle, and usually those are better. Again, very nice color shades, as you can see. It's just quite fast and definitely good for a big cube. Again, I haven't tried any other 7x7s, but compared to my Yushin Little Magic 9x9, definitely much better. As for my averages, again, haven't really done many solves, like just 1 for this video. My average was actually DNF, which means it was slightly more than 10 minutes. I definitely have gotten stuff under 10 minutes, but I don't know, maybe like sub 7 would be a good goal. I really just don't like 7x7, so I don't really care. Also, for 3x3 OH, like I literally do not practice, but my goal was to get like sub 40 from last year, and currently I would say I average like maybe 55 using table without probably like a minute. But my main, I would say, I guess, is the Maglev RS3M. I don't really care what my main is. I don't really have a backup main because I could use the Meilong, but I don't have it with me either. But yeah, I really do not practice OH and do not care at all. As you can see, my turning is quite bad. Now on to Pyramix. I use the Gan Enhanced Pyramix. This Pyramix is pretty good, though it is a bit unstable and probably wouldn't go for it, especially considering it's almost $30, but it has a very, very nice feeling. A very soft sound, as you can hear. And yeah, it works well enough for me considering how little I practice Pyramix. I believe my goal for last year was like sub 8, and I was like averaging sub 12, and I averaged like sub 12 right now, so I really don't care. My finger tricks are definitely not the best. Also, my tips are not the best either, but I just like solving it for fun, not just really like speed solving it. As for my backup main, I know like you might be thinking, what is this? But I actually do not have any other good Pyramixes. So this is actually my second best Pyramix, which is literally a Meffert's Pyramix. And it's like better than a Yushin Black Kirin, some other junky ones, but it's incredibly unstable, as you can see here. It has ball bearings, not even magnets. The tips are quite bad, and as you can see, stickers are kind of peeling off. So yeah, it's definitely a bad Pyramix. Definitely do not pick this up. It's also quite expensive. So yeah, I really definitely need to get a new Pyramix. As for my goal for Pyramix, I don't know, I think maybe just sub 10 would be good. I don't really care. As for Megamix, again, it's being borrowed. I'll put a picture of it on my hands. Basically, I think my goal was like to average maybe sub 2. I currently average like 230, but I literally have done like 1 Megamix solve also. So I'm not really sure, but I guess my goal would maybe be 130. I might get really into Megamix. It really depends. Like, I really do not care about Megamix. And also, it's the YJ V2M, pretty nice budget Megamix, but I don't really care to upgrade. As for Scube, an event that I actually do like kind of like, I use the Gan Enhanced. This Scube is like probably the best on the market. I've only tried a couple other ones, but I haven't tried the Ion. But this Scube, it's very like smooth, has a very nice feeling, has core magnet, nice sound too. And yeah, I do like it, so this is definitely like my main. And for my average, I would say maybe average maybe like 10. I'm not really sure what my goal was, but maybe an average like sub 7 would be good. I do really like turning Scube, but I just don't really have enough motivation to practice. As for my backup, I use this X-Man Wingy. It's not as good, it's definitely much slower, and it just feels much older, but it's just my backup, it's nothing special. Now on to Square One, an event that I actually do like. I use the YJ Mgc Square One, which is probably the best one on the market. As you can see, I have black on here. I swapped it out for yellow, and I do like this cube. The feeling is pretty nice, and the corner cutting is really good. And yeah, so I currently average maybe like 50 or 40, depending on parity. I'm not really sure what I average, and maybe my goal would be to get sub 40 or maybe sub 35. Again, I don't really care that much about Square One. I just really like solving it. After I upgraded to this, I liked it a lot more. My backup main is the Yushin Little Magic, and it's quite unstable, and the corner cutting is pretty bad, as you can see. I tried doing some mods on it, but honestly, it didn't work out that well. It's a good budget Square One, but definitely not as good as the MGC, and it's also quite slow. See, I wouldn't recommend it. But let's get on to the last puzzle. So the last puzzle that I have, I didn't even have one last year, is the clock. Of course, it's the Qiyi clock, definitely best one on the market. Pins and dials are really nice. It's a magnetic clock, also magnetic not just on the pins but on the dials. I currently average about sub 22 maybe. Maybe my goal would maybe be sub 10, which would be kind of hard, but clock, you don't really have to learn new algs, so I'm not really sure. I actually do like clock quite a bit. This turns pretty well, so yeah, I do like it, and I do want to get better at it. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this mains and goals video. I'll try to do one every year. I should be able to, along with the cube collection. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to like, subscribe, and see you guys in my next video.